electrochemical cells, or it is known as galvanic cells. So let's see what are electrochemical cells. So electrochemical cells are the device so which converts the chemical energy into electrical energy. So these are known as electrochemical cells. So majorly what happen in the electrochemical cells, majorly it converts the chemical energy into electrical energy. The best example for this type of electrochemical cells are known as Daniel cell. Since the Daniel cell, it is the best example for the galvanic cells. Now let's see the construction of the Daniel cells. So here the Daniel cell consists of majorly two electrodes. So here it is zinc and copper electrodes present in the Daniel cells. So where zinc electrode is dipped in the zinc sulfate solution and copper, it is dipped in the copper sulfate solution. See this one. So this is the structure of the Daniel cell. So here the first half, here this is the off cell. So here it is the zinc electrode which is present in the zinc sulfate solution, and the second off cell, so that is copper electrode, it is dipped in the copper sulfate solution, and these two electrodes are connected with the wire including a voltmeter, and these two off cells are connected with the salt bridge. In the salt bridge compound, so that is potassium chloride, majorly potassium chloride is present in the salt bridge. So here it is, the zinc will act as a anode, and the copper, see this one, the copper electrode will act as a cathode. So after completion of this circuit, the electrons, see this one, the electrons travels through the external wire from the zinc electrode to the copper electrode. So here the salt bridge allows the anions and cations to move between electrodes components. So where in this Daniel cell, zinc electrons lose the electrons, two electrons, it will lose the two electrons. So that two electrons traveled through this wire, and that two electrons are combined with the copper. Now here it is what happened when the zinc release the two electrons. So that means, see this one, this is the reaction. See this one, zinc will lose the two electrons. That means zinc gives rise to zinc 2 plus plus 2 electrons. Means, so it oxidized, zinc can be oxidized into zinc 2 plus. That means at anode, the oxidation, see this one, the oxidation reactions that takes place at the anode side. So coming to the cathode side, so that released two electrons, see this one, that released two electrons from the zinc. That two electrons combines with the copper, and it can convert as the copper metal. So here what happened at the cathode chamber, see, so copper will act as a cathode, we know that. So that cathode copper 2 plus combines with the two electrons from the zinc. So finally, after observing the two electrons, it converts as a copper. Means it absorbs some electrons, it is known as reduction. So that is why we know that at a cathode, majorly reduction reactions are takes place. So here it is a total net reaction. So after cancellation the two electrons, we can get the total net reaction of the Daniel cell. So here it is the total net reaction. So that is zinc plus copper 2 plus gives rise to zinc 2 plus plus copper. Here what happens, zinc converts as a zinc 2 plus. That means oxidation. See this one, another one, that copper converts as a Cu2 plus become Cu. That means it gets the reduced. So remember that one, at anode, what type of reactions are taking place at anode? Oxidation. See this one. Oxidation reactions are takes place at anode. At cathode, what type of reactions are takes place? At cathode, reduction reactions are takes place at cathode. So remember this one. So here it is the Daniell cell represented. So we can represent the Daniell cell, or we can write the Daniell cell as. So here it is the Daniell cell representations. So this is about the Daniell cell. Then how can you represent a Daniell cell? So there are some particular rules. So based on that rules, we can easily or conveniently we can represent any electrochemical cell. So let's see what are the rules. The first is a galvanic cell. Majorly a galvanic cell, it is represented by the anode. So where the oxidation occurs, anode on the left side, majorly it can represent on the left hand side, and cathode where the reduction or reactions or takes, or where the reduction occurs, we can write on the right hand side. We can write the right hand side like this. See this one. We can write the anode reactions on the left hand side, and we can write the cathodes the right hand side. And the second one, the anode of the cell is represented by the writing metal first. We can write the metal first, and then we can write the electrolyte or metal ion. So if you want to write the anode cell, if you want the anode of the cell, we can represent first. You have to write the what is the electrode present in the anode side. Then after that you can write the metal ions. So in the Daniell cell, in the anode chamber, the zinc is act as an electrode, anode electrode. So that is why we can write as the zinc metal. After that, we are writing the metal ion. So that is zinc +2. So like that, we can write the cathode as well. So here in the cathode, it is represented by writing the first you have to write the electrolyte. See this one. Here is the electrolyte. That means we have to write the first metal ion. After that, we can write what is the metal which is act as the electrode in the cathode chamber. So in the Daniell cell, so majorly copper will act as a cathode electrode. So that is why we are writing the copper ion. First we are writing the copper ion, then after we can write the copper metal. Yes. So after that, the two off cells are separated by the salt bridge. Yes, there is a salt bridge. We know that if you observe the Daniell cell, the two off cells are combined with a one salt bridge. Then how can you indicate the salt bridge? So here it is the salt bridge indicated by the two vertical lines. Two vertical lines. See this. So this is known as, these two vertical lines indicate the salt bridge. So the salt bridge, left hand side. So what we are writing? We are writing the anodes. We are writing the anode of cell reaction. So on the right side of the salt bridge, we are writing the cathode of cell reaction. See this one. So here it is the zinc will act as the anode. So that is why we are writing the zinc half cell reaction in the left hand side of the salt bridge. So that is zinc sulfate. On the right hand side, we are writing the cathode half cell reaction. So that is copper sulfate by copper. Or we can write in zinc plus 2. Double lines, we are writing the double lines. So that is parallel lines. Then we are writing the cathode of cell reaction. So that is copper 2 plus copper. So this way, you have to write the cell representation of any galvanic cells. So these are the steps which are involving in the representation of the galvanic cell. So how can you represent the galvanic cell? So first we are writing the left hand side. What we are writing? We are writing the anode cell reactions. Right hand side we are writing the cathode reactions, cathode of cell reactions. Then how can you write the individual cell reactions? So coming to the anode chamber, anode of cell reaction, we have to write the metal, which will act as a electrode in the anode of reactions. So then you are writing the metal ion. So coming to the Daniel cell, so here it is the zinc will act as a anode. So that is why we are writing the zinc, the metal. Then after we are writing the zinc ion. So coming to the right hand side, so that is cathode of cell reactions. So coming to the cathode, it is represented by writing the first we are writing the copper ion, that means metal ion. Then after we are writing the metal, so that is copper. So next one, the salt bridge indicated with the two lines, the two vertical lines. So based on these vertical lines, so right hand side of the vertical lines, we are writing the cathode of reactions. So left hand side of the these vertical lines, two vertical lines, we are writing the anode of cell reactions. So this is a best representation method of the galvanic cell. Then what is a single electrode potential? So let's see what is single electrode potential. So here the potential of any electrode, the potential of any electrode, commonly it is known as a single electrode potential. So it is a potential difference between it and the electrolyte surrounding the electrode. So that potential difference is known as single electrode potential. So if you observe this diagram, so this is a electrode and this is the solution. The potential difference between the, see this one, the electrode and the electrolyte which is surrounding the electrode. The electrolyte which is surrounding the electrode. So that difference is known as single electrode potential. So here the majorly the single electrode potential, it is depending upon the three major conditions. So first one is, so it depends upon the nature of the metal. The single electrode potential, it is depending upon the nature of the potential. And the next one, the concentration of the metallic ions in solution. Concentration of the metallic ions which are present in the solution. And the last one, so that is temperature is also affects on the single electrode potentials. So these are the three conditions which are affects on the single electrode potential. So what are they? The nature of the metal, concentration of the metallic ions which are present in the solution, and next one, temperature, the solution. The potential of a single electrode cannot be determined. If you want to determine the how much potential of a single electrode, so it is impossible to determine a single electrode potential. Then how can you determine the potential of a single electrodes? So here it is. So by using the standard reference electrode, so by using the other standard reference electrode, then only we can easily find out a single electrode potential. So remember that one. If you want to determine, if you want to know the single electrode potential, we have to need one standard reference electrodes. The best example for the standard reference electrodes are standard hydrogen electrodes and calomel electrodes. Then what is mean by a reference electrodes? So reference electrodes. A reference electrode is an electrode which has a stable and well-known electrode potential. A well-known electrode potential. We know the electrode potential. or it is a constant. It is a stable, which is a stable and well-known electrode potential. So that electrode, it is known as a reference electrode. A reference electrode is used in the measuring the working electrode potential of an electrochemical cell. Yes, we know that by using this reference electrodes, we can easily determine the any single electrode potentials. So majorly these reference electrodes are two types: hydrogen electrodes and calomel electrodes. So here the reference electrodes will act as either anode as well as cathode. So that is depending upon the another single electrode potential. So depending upon that another nature of the single electrode potential, so these reference electrodes will act as a anode as well as cathode. So what are the best example for the reference electrodes? So hydrogen electrodes and calomel electrodes. So let's see the construction of these two reference electrodes. How can you construct this reference electrodes? The first one, that is standard hydrogen electrodes. The standard hydrogen electrodes. So let's see construction of these standard hydrogen electrodes. So here it consists of a platinum wire in an inverted glass tube. If you observe this diagram, so this is the platinum wire. The platinum wire present in a vertical glass, which glass having the side tube, a glass tube. And a platinum foil is attached. See this ones, a platinum foil attached at the end of the wire. If you have this black material, it is known as a platinum black foil, which is attached at the bottom of the platinum wire. And this whole glass tube is dipped in the 1 m concentration of the HCl at a 25 degrees Celsius. So after that, hydrogen gas is passed through the tube at 1 atmosphere. See this, that side tube, a vertical tube consisting with a side tube containing a side tube. So through that tube, we can pass the hydrogen gas at 1 atmosphere. So after completion of whole this process, then the electrode potential, it will act as a standard hydrogen electrode. So here it is, the electrode potential of the standard hydrogen electrode is 0 at all temperatures. So what is the electrode potential of the standard hydrogen electrodes? It is 0 at all temperature. So this way we can easily construct the standard hydrogen electrodes. So once again, so how can you construct the standard hydrogen electrodes? So firstly, the platinum wire present in a vertical glass tube. So that clips our glass containing a side tube, and here is a platinum black foil. It is attached in the at the bottom of the platinum wire, and whole the system it is present or dipped in a 1 m concentration of the HCl. And after that, we can pass the hydrogen gas through this side tubes, through this side tube at 1 atmosphere. So then it will act as a standard hydrogen electrode. So what is the standard electrode potential of the standard hydrogen electrode? So it is 0 at all temperatures. Yes, we know that these standard hydrogen electrodes will act as a anode as well as cathode. So that is depending upon the another single electrode. Then how can you represent the standard hydrogen electrode? So normally we can represent the cell reaction or the standard hydrogen electron. So this way, that is platinum, hydrogen at 1 atmosphere, then oblique ions, H plus protons at 1 m concentration. Acid, that is acid, it can be acid. If this standard hydrogen electrodes will act as a anode, then what type of reactions it will take place at the anode? Yes, we know that if the standard hydrogen electrodes act as a anode, oxidation reactions are takes place at the anode. Then what is the cell reaction? So here, so this is the reaction present at the anode. If it is act as a anode, see this one. If it is act as a anode, then what is the cell reactions? So hydrogen gives rise to 2H plus plus 2 electrons. So losing of electrons, generally it is known as a oxidation reactions. So that is why hydrogen lose the 2 electrons and it can form the H plus protons plus 2 electrons. So this is known as a oxidation if it is act as a anode. And second one, for example, it will act as a cathode. If it is act as a cathode, then what type of reaction it is takes place? See here. Yes, we know that at a cathode, what type of reactions are takes place? Yes, reduction reactions. So reduction reactions are takes place around the cathode. Reduction reaction means gaining of electrons. Generally, gaining of electrons is known as reduction reactions. So how can you write the cell reaction? So gaining of electrons means the protons will absorb the 2 electrons from the solution, see this one, and it converts as a hydrogen gas. So this is a cell reaction at a cathode if it is act as a cathode. So this is about the standard hydrogen electrodes, and these are the two reactions, oxidation and reduction. So that is depending upon the nature of the another single electrode, then only it will act as a, either anode or cathode. So based on that, you can write the oxidation reaction and reduction reaction. So here, so there are some drawbacks by using the standard hydrogen electrodes. Then we need the another one, second reference electrode. So that is secondary reference electrodes. Why we need secondary reference electrodes? So here is some drawbacks while using the standard hydrogen electrodes. So majorly the use of standard electrodes is difficult. It is difficult. It is difficult to maintain the that 1 m concentration. It is very difficult to maintain the concentration about 1 m in the entire process. So that is a different difficult process, and also it is difficult to maintain the pressure of the gas at 1 atmosphere. It is also one drawback. So what are the drawbacks? The maintaining of 1 m, the concentration of the HCl, and also the maintaining the pressure of the gas at 1 atmosphere. And also the electrode will easily get poisoned in case of the traces, any traces of impurities present in the gas, and hence other it get the poisons. Hence we need the other reference electrodes to overcome these drawbacks. So there is another reference electrode is there. So that is known as a saturated calomel electrode. A saturated calomel electrode, or it is known as a saturated potassium chloride. So let's see the construction of the calomel electrode. Yes, we know that this is also a reference electrodes. So this calomel electrode consisting of a glass tube system, a glass tubes which will consist in a two side tube. See this one, two side tubes. It is a glass tube which is consisting two another side tubes, and here in the glass at the bottom of the glass, mercury is present. See this one, at bottom of the glass, mercury is present, and that mercury covered with a solid mercurous chloride. See this one, and that mercury is covered with a solid mercurous chloride paste. A mercurous chloride paste is present above the mercury. And then filled with the potassium chloride solution. After that, we are taking the fill the entire tube with the potassium chloride solution as a platinum wire in which it touch with the mercury, and it is used for the electrical contact. So after that, what is it? A platinum wire is dipped into the deep. The bottom of the platinum wire must touch with the mercury which is present at the bottom of the glass tube. So in that way, you have to construct the calomel electrodes. So here the potassium chloride solution inside the tube can have the ionic contact with the solution outside and act as a salt bridge. See this part. So this part will act as a salt bridge. So by using this reference electrodes, we can easily determine the electrode potential of the another single electrode. So normally here the electrode potential of the calomel electrode is 0.2422 volts. So this is the construction of the calomel electrode. So how can we construct a calomel electrode? So majorly in this calomel electrode, a glass tube is present in which having the two side tube like this. Then I take the mercury. The mercury is present at bottom of this glass tube, and above this mercury, then we are taking the mercurous chloride paste is present above this mercury. Then after we are taking the fill this glass tube with the potassium chloride. So after that, so dip the platinum wire which is present in the glass tube. So that platinum wire must be dipped deeply into this glass. So here is the one condition that platinum wire must touch with the mercury which is present at the bottom of the glass tube. And the side tubes here, the one side tube which is present in the potassium chloride, so that will act as a salt bridge. So by using this reference electrode, we can easily determine the another electrode potential. And the electrode potential of the calomel electrode is 0.2422 volts. So this is a construction of calomel electrode. Yes, so we know that this will act as a reference electrodes. That means it will act as a anode as well as cathode. So that is depending upon the nature of the another single electrode. So if it is act as a cathode, then what type of reactions are takes place around the cathode? Yes, we know that reduction reactions are takes place around the cathode. Then see the cell reactions. For example, see this one. The mercury 2 plus, see this one, the mercury 2 plus ions given by the sparingly soluble mercurous chloride that get discharged at an electrode. So more mercurous chloride would pass into the solution, and the concentration of chloride ions increases. So here it is the cell reactions. Mercury 2 plus, see this one, the mercury 2 plus absorbs the electrons and it converts as a mercury. Absorption of electrons, it is known as a reduction. Mercury chloride, it is dissociated into mercury 2 plus plus 2 chloride ions. See this one. So more mercury chlorides would pass into the solution. That means more dissociation takes place, and the concentration of the chloride ions also increases. So these are the two reactions that takes place around in the cathodic chamber. If it is act as a cathode, this calomel electrode, if it is a calomel electrode act as a cathode, then these two type of reactions are takes place around the cathode. So in the other hand, if it will act as a anode, if it is act as an anode, then what type of reactions are takes place around the anode? Let's see. So here it is the liberation of electrons and send Hg2 plus ions in solutions. So that Hg2 plus ions combined with the chloride ions, that means furnished by the potassium chloride, forming the sparingly soluble mercurous chloride. So the concentration of the chloride ions decreases in the solution. So these two types of reactions are take place around the anode. The majorly what type of reaction? So that is oxidation. So oxidation reactions are present at the anode. So what type of reaction? So first one, the mercury, see this one, the mercury, it will lose the 2 electrons and converts it either Hg2 2 plus, Hg2 2 plus. And also that Hg2 plus, Hg2 2 plus. So that ion will combine with the chloride ions, which is coming from the potassium chloride, and it will convert as a mercurous chloride. So after formation of this reaction, see this one. After formation of this reaction, there is a decreasing in the chloride ions is possible. So these two type of reactions are takes place around the anode. If it is act as an anode, that calomel electrode, if it is act as a calomel electrode as a anode, then these two type of reactions are takes place around the anode. That means what? So first of all, it lose the electrons from the mercury. Mercury, it lose the 2 electrons and convert as a Hg2 2 plus, and that Hg2 2 plus combines with the chloride ions of the potassium chloride. We are chloride ions which are present in the potassium chloride solutions. So then it converts as a mercurous chloride. See this one, mercurous chloride, Hg2Cl2. So by forming this type of reactions, there is a decreasing in the concentration of chloride ions is possible. So these are the reactions. See this one. These are the reactions which are occur around the anode as well as cathodes. See this one. The final this electrode reaction. This one. If it is act as a anode, so this is the final reaction. See this one. Hg2Cl2 plus 2 electrons. It gives rise to mercury plus 2 chloride ions. So this is a electrode reaction. If you observe these reactions, if you observe these electrode reactions, so depending upon that, the electrode is reversible with respect to chloride ions. See this one. With respect to chloride ions, it is a reversible reaction. See this one. In this reaction, so chloride ions are formed by absorbing the 2 electrons, mercurous chloride. When the mercurous chloride absorption of 2 electrons, it will give the chloride. See this one. So in this reaction, what happened? The mercury ion, see this one, Hg2 2 plus ions absorption of chloride ions, and it will convert as a mercurious chloride series. So that is why the with respect to chloride ions, it will act as a reversible electrode, a reversible electrode. So this is about calomel electrodes. So these are the reference electrodes. So these are the two reference electrodes. So in your examination points, so these are the two important one. So they will ask the questions also like that. What are the reference electrodes? And explain the with example and explain with examples. So that is why you have to write the what is the definition of the reference electrodes, and you can write the hydrogen electrode, the construction of the hydrogen electrode, and as well as calomel electrodes. And also the very important thing is you have to write the cell reactions. So oxidation reactions and reduction reactions of the both standard hydrogen electrodes as well as calomel electrodes. So what are the oxidation reactions and what are the reduction reactions? So then only you can get the full marks. So this is about reference electrodes.